Hello and welcome back to Women's Football Talk, the YouTube channel that brings you all the latest news and stories. So today we continue our WSL club by club preview. Now before we get into today's video, make sure you smash that like button and the subscribe button as well, and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram for all the latest news and stories. So today sees us look at Brighton and Hove Albion. Now last season they finished 7th in the league under Hope Powell. Now they are a strong mid-table side who can cause upsets against the top 4 or 5 teams that finished above them last season, and it is definitely something that Hope Powell has got her side doing very well, and they can definitely put in a few bright games. Not just necessarily last season, but if you look at the season before where they took points off Chelsea and Manchester United as well. Hope Powell really knows how to get her sides playing up against the bigger teams, and sometimes it's those results against the so-called lesser teams in the WSL where they need to make better amendments. Because I mean, if you look back to their last 3 games of last season, a 3-1 defeat to relegated Birmingham City, a defeat to Manchester City and a draw with Everton. They're the type of games, that, especially the Birmingham and the Everton ones, that where this season Hope Powell will be hoping to get her side into a winning situation and have them looking more comfortably towards potentially pressuring 5th, 4th and maybe even cause an upset and potentially get that 3rd and final Champions League spot, although it is very unlikely. However, this season is going to be a bit different because they lost 2 of their biggest players over the last couple of seasons in Dutch midfielder Inessa Kragman, who has moved back over to the Netherlands, and then Maya Letitia, who has moved over to Manchester United this summer. So they're 2 big losses for Hope Powell's side. However, they do still have a good strong core of player and have recruited very well. So looking at the recruitments that they've made, they've brought in Poppy Pattinson, VT Crisari, Rebecca Start, Park Yi Yun, Elizabeth Turland and Georgia Fox on loan. So they are some very good deals that Hope Powell has managed to get her side during this summer, and the players that they have lost, I feel like they have replaced them well, and it will be very interesting to see whether Brighton have a very similar season to last season or whether they can push on a bit and move towards the top half of the WSL season. So obviously when we come to looking at key players, obviously the goals from Danielle Carter are going to be key to how Hope Powell's side do this season. But with the addition of VT Crisari from Birmingham City, in a much more rounded side, you'll probably see Sari pop up with some more goals for Brighton than she did in her last season with Birmingham City, and maybe it'll be one of those situations where Powell can either play both of them starting up top and that changes her formation, or have the option of bringing one of them off the bench and then being able to change things in the last half an hour of a game in a tight position where, say, they could have drawn the game last season, but being able to bring on either VT Crisari or Danielle Carter allows Hope Powell's side to pick up the 3 points rather than having to settle for the draw or even come back and find a winner if they are currently losing at the time. So I think it could be a very strong season for Hope Powell's side. Whether they'll push much more further on than the 5th or 6th, I think is really unrealistic considering how the top 4 or 5 sides have strengthened this past summer. However, top half finish, because obviously 7th place is just outside the top half in the WSL, isn't too far out of the question, and I think Hope Powell's side will definitely be looking to move and bridge that gap a little bit more towards the top 5 also sides, because they only finished 1 point behind West Ham in 6th place, so that's not too bad in terms of a top 4 finish. However, top half finish, but it's then the gap to Tottenham. So the likes of themselves, West Ham and Reading, and even Aston Villa and Everton, there's just that little mid-table league group where they need to try and make some of their results better, because only out of the teams that I just mentioned, only Aston Villa had more defeats than Brighton and Hove Albion last season, where they finished with 12 defeats. Everton also had the same amount, so they're going to look to try and turn them defeats into draws, or even more better, into wins. 8 wins is not a bad shout, obviously, but more points the better, and obviously they'll want to be scoring more goals, scoring only 24 times last season, but with the addition of VT Crisari, I definitely think they can do that going forward this season. So it's definitely something to watch with Brighton and Hove Albion this season. Right, we'll be back with our next video looking at Chelsea and the rest of the league as we continue our day-by-day WSL club preview. And until then, make sure you like and subscribe and turn on the post notification bell so you never miss a video of ours. And like I said at the start, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram for all the latest news and stories from around the world of women's football. And until next time, we'll see you soon.